Hello and welcome. My name is Kevin and this is my channel Contacted Human. Today I'd like to discuss a couple of things, including Jake Barber and the Skywatcher group, and also show you a quick clip and analysis of my own that was captured recently. First up though, I'd like to share some of my opinions on the Skywatcher group and Jake Barber's initial interview with Ross Coulthard, which I found quite compelling, although the fact he never blinked kind of disturbed me. The footage itself from the interview left me feeling quite underwhelmed, as, on its own, it literally could have been anything, and all probability was legitimate. Although it left me feeling a bit dubious, as including all the footage would have added some legitimacy. They could have showed people attaching the object, or for that matter, detaching it, and only including a very short clip of it touching down only added confusion and more questions. I think which was very intentional on their part and left me with a feeling that there's something kind of fishy going on. Fast forward now to the Skywatcher project and its second video, and it's equally leaving me confused as it shares inadequate information, which I think is relevant as it's supposed to be a rigorous scientific expedition with analysis and, in their own words, open to the public to explore their findings. There's also the fact that they're armed and they use terms like dog whistle, which to me sounds a little bit derogatory. And both kind of raise red flags with me. Claims they have made include being able to use psionics not only to attract craft, but have them land, have yet to be seen. In their most recent video, they claim to have the most success with what they call the dog whistle. They don't elaborate on this dog whistle at all, which leaves me with many questions, including were they using their psionics at the same time? They themselves say there's a delayed effect between the point of using the dog whistle to when these craft turn up. And I'm curious to know, is it always the same amount of time? How do they not know it's a delayed effect from their psychic assets? They also claim their psychic assets have the ability to control these craft. Now, as someone who's had contact with this phenomenon most of my life, the times that I've made contact using telepathic means, or what I presume to be, I've asked politely to do so, and I don't feel like I'm in control of the craft. I personally feel like I have a link with the beings that are piloting. In the equipment I've seen in the Jake Barber and Skywatcher group's second video, it doesn't really represent the video evidence that I've seen them present. In fact, the clips that they shared seemed to show in the first video what looks to me a lot like a flock of birds. You can even see the wings flapping in the video. I've seen this many times through my own infrared recording devices, and they surely know that clip is nothing out of the ordinary, because if they don't and they think that's some sort of alien craft, then somebody who's privately funding them is wasting a lot of money. They also showed a photo of a guy holding a handheld camera with one of the best zoom lenses you can possibly buy. I myself have a simple JVC camcorder from about 2011. This JVC camcorder has a 40 times optical zoom, and if I can see a airplane with my naked eye, and I know the distance is about 12 kilometers from my location, I can use the camcorder to zoom in on one of these white dots close enough to see the pilot sitting in his seat and read the serial numbers on the plane. They said that they could see some of these objects they filmed with the naked eye, and the video evidence they offered was not only blurry digital zoom, but they had zero context and looked like they didn't even use a tripod. If they do have footage of the objects that they have called in, they have not been forthcoming with it, and this worries me, as the things that they have been saying contradicts the evidence that they are presenting themselves. The videos they showed seemed to show mylar balloons, possibly weather balloons, and what looked like something that had been dropped from the helicopter. And showing these objects just in the sky doesn't show movement, and is no better than the average Joe holding his phone up in his hand and filming a balloon in a shaky manner. They've promised us more information in future video, as it's supposedly an ongoing process, but I personally am not holding my breath. And look, it doesn't take that long to process some footage and just share it, especially if you're saying that this is open to the public. I do hope I'm wrong, and I hope they're legitimate and share some high-resolution, crystal clear images of the craft that they so boldly categorize. Just to prove a point, I'll show a very simple clip. It's nothing spectacular and till you actually start to think about it logically. The clip I'm presenting to you here, it shows a single strobe light. A strobe light could indicate a conventional aircraft, of course, but this particular light sits in one patch of sky for over a minute. It's actually directly above me and not regular in its flashing. At first glance, you might also be thinking it could be a geostationary satellite tumbling, slowly picking up the sunlight and glinting it back at the camera. In the minute that it's visible, it stays in about one patch of sky, but it is moving erratically, and it is moving. And I'm using another piece of software to analyze the data called Kenovea, which is originally designed for sports analysis. Whether it's for your golf stroke or a golf ball or a soccer ball or a baseball, I find this software is actually very handy for tracking UFO videos, as it does an amazing job at tracking objects. So I show the clip here. I will also show the object's movement using Kenovea. And as you can plainly see, it's definitely not sitting in one position. I have many such videos like this, which I'll be sharing in the future, some of them for tens of minutes. The reason I don't think this is human-made technology is I had a sighting back in the late 90s, and it started with a flashing object that actually came right down and it hovered above me, right before landing in a paddock behind my house. I often have these sightings and they flash when I'm looking at the right part of the sky. They seem to get excited that I recognize them, and I can feel the connection between myself and the pilots in the craft, which almost has this static electric feeling that comes in waves. And the more I feel this connection, the weirder and more erratic the movement of these craft can become. Quite often after one of these experiences, I'll have visitors come into my house or be outside my window, usually later after the sighting, late at night or early in the morning. I do have one theory surrounding the Skywatcher group and other big names in the UFO field, some of them that seem to have opposing ideals, yet I can't help but think that they all bow to the same master. And this is just a theory, that they're actually trying to find psionics or people that can telepathically communicate with these craft. They're trying to bombard the masses with loads of information about CE5 protocols, hoping that out of the millions of people that see the videos, lots of people would try it, hoping to wake up every now and again, maybe one true psionic, for which they can use this person as a worm on a hook and possibly use them as, well, bait to bring down one of these crafts. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. That's just a theory, and I do have several other theories as well. One of the weird things about all these supposed whistleblowers is they're all under DOPSA-approved agreements where they're vetted by the Department of Defense, and they all still hold their security clearances. None of them have left their jobs. Elizondo still has his security clearance. Jake Barber still has his security clearance, and I'm not sure, as the second interview isn't out yet at the time of filming, but I highly suspect that Matthew Brown would be under Department of Defense approval as well. Elizondo himself actually states, he says this a lot of times, he leaves a lot of breadcrumbs, and I kind of think if you read his book and listen to him very carefully, I'm not looking into it too deeply or anything, but he does seem to be talking about a dividing of the factions within the program itself. Hence why these people are keeping their security clearances and coming forward. Lou, in his book, actually expresses almost a disappointment with the program, as it's not interested in bringing anything forward. And a lot of the people at the top of the pile are more interested in flying in their private jets and having their private chefs and spending taxpayers' money on just bullcrap. So I think this makes him angry, and I think it makes a certain faction within the program quite upset and angry. And this is their way of trying to make changes internally. Once again, this is all just my opinion and theory, but who knows what's going on behind closed doors. So if you've stuck with me this far, I hope you'll have a good close look at the clip that I provided and actually think about what I've just filmed, as it definitely isn't a satellite. It's not a plane. It's not a chopper. It's not a drone. and it's not moving in a straight line, and it's just hanging out in one spot. It's also responding to me asking in my mind, which sounds insane, I know, but I'm asking for it to flash a light so I can see it easier, as I think these things sometimes have a lot of trouble coming in quite close. So once again, if you stuck with me this far, thanks a lot for listening. I'll have more episodes coming up. Probably tomorrow I'll have the next one up. I've got so much weird footage that I want to share. Some of it spectacular, some of it not so spectacular, but all of it definitely fits into the anomalous range. So I'll see you all then. Thank you all for watching. This has been Kevin for my channel Contacted Human. Don't forget to hit the like button. Comment if you have any ideas of your own. I'm open to listening to anybody. If you have any theories, especially about Skywatcher or all of these whistleblowers, please drop a comment below, let me know. And I will see you all next episode. Thank you. See you guys.